Today's Newsmaker, Japanese Foreign Ministry spokesperson, Mr. Kitamura Toshihiro. Mr. Kitamura, thank you so much for your time and thank you for granting this interview.
Thank you very much. I'm very honored to be here.
Okay, sir, let me start with the visit of Prime Minister Shigeru Ishiba to the Philippines. What kind of message does this send, at least in the Indo-Pacific region, visiting the Philippines, the Japan's value or the Philippines' value to Japan when it comes to its strategic importance?
Yeah, Philippines and Japan are a very good partner connected through the ocean. So both are maritime nations. So we are very happy we are long friendly relationship with Philippines. So we'd like to promote this cooperation, this friendly relationship further. And taking into account the current severe situation in terms of security in the region, we'd like to promote the cooperation in the field of security with Philippines because both are facing a very severe situation in this region once again.
Two main issues that were at least discussed during the bilateral meeting of President Bongbong Marcos and Japanese Prime Minister Ishiba, security and economy. So let me begin first with the security aspect. The announcement of the AXA or Acquisition and Cross-Servicing Agreement. The negotiations will start. Could you help us understand what does this agreement entail or what can we expect from this AXA?
Yeah. As I said, between Japan and Philippines, there are already the close cooperation in the field of security. But in order to deepen, in order to expand this cooperation between two forces, we believe that this AXA could serve a very important tool to facilitate the exchange of the force between two countries. And as you may know, we have agreed upon to conclude RAA, Reciprocal Access Agreement last year, and I think that the Philippine Congress has already passed this agreement, and we have submitted this agreement to the Diet, and now we are hoping that the Diet will discuss this agreement very soon. And as you said, our Prime Minister announced during the yesterday's press conference that both leaders have agreed upon to start the negotiation on AXA. And they also agreed upon to have the discussion between the two governments as a possible conclusion of the information security. Again, both these legal framework also promote the exchange or cooperation between two forces of the two countries.
So under the AXA, are we expecting more procurement of Japanese military equipment? Is that how it will work? Or at least that's the vision for this kind of agreement?
To be honest, AXA is not something to provide equipment or technical cooperation. Rather, that is a framework which facilitates the daily or military exercise. So in case of the joint exercise, one of the party can provide, for example, refueling or possible equipment. So as for the defense equipment cooperation, this is something out of this AXA framework. Rather, that's a kind of daily or normal cooperation between two forces.
Japan has been very active when it comes to joint exercises, joint military exercises in the South China Sea or in the West Philippine Sea. Maybe what else can the Philippines expect in terms of expanding security cooperation apart from the two new security agreements that were announced last night? What else are you looking at the
So this kind of cooperation between two forces cannot limited in contingency. For example, we are now suffering from many natural disasters, and humanitarian rescue or humanitarian relief is one of the issues that the force should address. So through this cooperation based on the possible legal work framework, we can promote more cooperation when natural disaster occurred or something humanitarian crisis occurred in the world.
Okay, but some countries are reacting on the presence of the heightened military engagements between the Philippines, Japan, and other partners. They said that it's a threat to regional security, the increased military activities. How do you respond to those kind of comments from other countries? I mean, for China, example, they said that activities of other countries should not target another country like them.
Mhm. So in this regard, we very concerned about the intensified activities by Chinese forces in the region. So we conveyed this kind of concern directly to China, but at the same time, it is important to how can I say, increase our readiness or preparedness for any kind of contingency or any kind of situation. Not only, I'm not talking about the contingency, but also I just explained any kind of situation, including natural disasters. So we should increase our preparedness, our readiness to any contingency. So it is quite important to conduct, for example, joint exercise by two forces in order to increase our operational capability or operational cooperation. But at the same time, it is important to increase the resilience of the like-minded countries, including Philippines. So that's why we have decided to provide any defense equipment such as patrol vessels to this region. And today, our Prime Minister is going to visit the Philippine Coast Guard, where to which we have provided patrol vessels. Yeah, and we are also now having the mine-sweeping vessel from our maritime defense forces. They have participated in the joint exercise of mine sweeping of the coast of Middle East, and they have now on the way back to Japan after 4 months joint exercise. And before visiting this Philippines, they have visited Cambodia, and they have Liana port, which has been renovated by the China's support. But in order to demonstrate that this port is open to every country, our mine-sweeping vessel have visited that port for the first time as a foreign military.
Okay. Apart from the South China Sea, another potential flashpoint that everyone's watching out for is what's happening in Taiwan Strait. Given the close proximity of Japan and the Philippines to Taiwan, how is Japan preparing or at least bracing for any potential impact in that regard, in that area?
As for the Taiwan Strait, it is a very inconsistent position of Japan that that issue related to Taiwan Strait should be resolved peacefully through the dialogue. But at the same time, as I said in the very beginning, we are concerned about the intensified activities of the Chinese forces in this region. So we convey this kind of concerns to Chinese authority directly through every channel, including the high-level channel.
Okay. Shifting now from security to economy, because Prime Minister Ishiba also mentioned about reciprocal tariffs, of course, the policies of U.S. President Donald Trump. How do you think Japan and the Philippines can work together to address this reciprocal tariffs concern?
Firstly, I'd like to say that Japan is ready to support Philippine government. I think that President Marcos have set the target to become upper middle income countries, and in order to achieve such target, we are ready to work and provide any kind of support to realize that. And we have a big Japanese business community here in Philippines, and they also very contribute to the development of Philippines. And this morning, our Prime Minister met a representative of Japanese community here, and he heard every concerns and opinions of the local businessmen, and with regard to the U.S. tariff issues, our Prime Minister had a telephone conversation with President Trump early this month, and they have decided to launch a ministerial dialogue between two countries, and Minister Akazawa was designated as a chief of negotiator, and he had already launched ministerial discussions in Washington, D.C., and now he is visiting to Washington, D.C. to hold the second round of this negotiation. And as for the U.S. tariff issues, I think that the tariff actions could affect a lot on the global economy as well as this free trade system. So we heard the concerns of the Japanese community this morning as well, and we, based on those opinions, concerns, we convey our message to our counterpart of the U.S. and we hope that we can find out a good solution between two countries, which is not only good for two countries, but good for the world, including Philippines.
That's true because some are describing the Japan's diplomatic efforts to negotiate the tariffs as an important test case on how the U.S. administration will proceed with its tariff policies. Because there's also an observation from former Defense Minister Itsunori Onodera and said that if the U.S. will continue to push for tariffs, ASEAN might be distant to the U.S., which is also a concern in their global regional security.
We negotiate not only for Japan, but also for other countries as well. So what we would like to find out is a way which is a win-win for both US, Japan, and other parts of the world. And I think that, as I said, many Japanese business community are operating here in Philippines, and they will be also affected by this US tariff. So finding a, how can I say, bilateral solution is not truly beneficial to the Japanese economy, but we have to find that solution which can apply every part of the world. So I think we try to first of all convey our concern to the U.S. administration and try to find a win-win solution for everyone.
Okay, given those challenges, how valuable is it to remain or to maintain the trilateral cooperation of Philippines, US, and Japan, despite the issues on the economic front?
This cooperation is quite important for Japan, and this has been confirmed even after the inauguration of the Trump administration. So just after the inauguration day, our foreign minister held under the leadership of US a so-called Quad meeting, first of all. And so I think that there is concerns about US attitude about the trilateral system or multilateral system, not only in the field of the economy, but also in the field of security or politics. But in fact, the U.S. is still committed to such a framework of a multilateral system. So this is the case for Japan, U.S., Philippines cooperation, and we'd like to promote such cooperation even after the Trump administration. And they have already demonstrated their commitment to this framework. So we are very happy to continue this initiative.
Okay, and now on a lighter note, sir, on a lighter side of this discussion, the World Expo, because Prime Minister Ishiba mentioned about the World Expo yesterday during his bilateral meeting with President Marcos. So maybe why is President Marcos invited to the World Expo and why should Filipinos also visit the World Expo?
Yes. As you said, our Prime Minister Ishiba clearly extended his invitation to President Marcos. And the 7th of June is a national day for Philippines. And we are expecting the visit will happen not only this national day, but also during the time of the expo. And as you may know, this expo's theme is designing the future society for our lives. So we'd like to explore the future possibilities, future planet through this expo. And I think that the Philippines pavilion is one of the favorite pavilions among visitors. So we'd like to demonstrate from Osaka to the world that Japan and Philippines are ready to work to create our design a new future, better world.
And I think even without big events, Filipinos love visiting Japan as testament to that because the visa application is always full and the slots are, there are so many Filipinos wanting to visit Japan.
So we are aware of that. So recently we have decided to cooperate with a specialized center called VFS, and they are now ready to work with us to facilitate, to accelerate the issuance of visa. So I think that through this kind of new initiative, we hope that many more Filipino come to Japan and discover the charm and beauty of Japanese culture and Japanese society.
And to end this interview, sir, both President Marcos and Prime Minister Ishiba described the Philippine-Japan relations as entering the golden age of diplomatic relations. So when we say golden age, what does this mean for both the Philippines and Japan?
We are very happy to promote this Golden Age initiative because, as you know, we have a long history of friendship between two countries, and the scope of the cooperation between two countries are expanding not only from the economic field but also the security field. So we would like to, establish a multi-layered and very wide range of cooperation between two countries. And we are very happy to witness the many Japanese businessmen or companies are operating here already. And we also happy to receive more Philippine tourists coming to Japan. And such kind of people-to-people exchange, including the economic field, will also further accelerate, further deepen the friendship of both countries. So I think that there is no concerns about between two countries, and we'd like to work together with Philippine government and the Philippine people to expand this friendship between two countries.
Mr. Kitamura Toshihiro, thank you so much for your time and for granting this interview.
Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.